Welcome to Daily Stoic, where we delve into the timeless wisdom that can transform your life, particularly in the realm of relationships and personal growth. Have you ever wondered why certain men, often the boldest and most unapologetic, seem to effortlessly draw the most extraordinary women into their lives? And why, despite all your efforts to be the good guy, you often find yourself frustrated, unable to achieve the deep connections you desire? The answer doesn't lie in chance or fortune, but in the mindset these men cultivate and the conventions they choose to challenge. In today's exploration, we'll uncover the principles that allow these men to become irresistible, principles that you can adopt to reshape your own experiences. If you've grown tired of being the nice guy who consistently falls short, prepare yourself for a transformative journey. Together, we'll shift your perspective and empower you to forge the connections you've been seeking. If you're ready to embrace a new way of thinking and start making real changes in your life, be sure to subscribe to Daily Stoic. Hit the like button if you find value in this content, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's begin. First principle: the audacious recognize their own worth. You see yourself as the quintessential nice guy, always at her beck and call, quick to respond, liking every post, showering her with compliments. Yet in your eagerness to please, you've unwittingly cast yourself in the role of her ever-loyal pet, eager for scraps of attention. But here's the truth. The moment you let yourself be seen as desperate for her approval, she will lose interest, and you'll be trampled underfoot like yesterday's news. The world often claims to disdain arrogance, but let's strip away the pretense. What women truly crave is a man who esteems himself above all else. It's time to shatter the illusion that perpetual kindness and agreement will elevate your status in her eyes. On the contrary, by constantly being available, instantly responsive, and endlessly admiring, you're signaling that you're willing to abandon your own value just to gain hers. This isn't appealing, it's desperation, and desperation is the antithesis of attraction. Consider the man who doesn't scramble for attention. He exudes a quiet confidence, an unshakable belief that he is the prize, not her. And therein lies the key: self-worth. A man who values himself doesn't fawn over every story she posts or cater to her every whim. Instead, he understands the paradox of attraction. The more you elevate her, the more she looks down on you. Women may claim to detest arrogance, but their instincts tell a different story. A man who holds himself in high regard, who isn't desperate for her validation, becomes a challenge, a conquest. This isn't about being dismissive or rude. It's about maintaining your own pedestal and inviting her to join you there, not the other way around. Now let's address a fundamental truth. Many women, especially those who are considered beautiful, perceive themselves as superior to most men. Why? Because society has conditioned men to worship at the altar of beauty, inflating its value to absurd heights. Yet the audacious man sees beyond this facade. No matter how attracted he might be, he never loses sight of his own worth. He doesn't grovel or idolize. He simply exists as he is, self-assured, centered, and unattainable. And this, paradoxically, makes him far more desirable. So do you want to be viewed as a prize? Stop behaving as though you're vying for one. Withdraw from the race for her approval, focus on enhancing your own value, and observe how the dynamics begin to shift. Women are drawn to men who challenge them, who aren't always available, who make them work for their attention. Master this mindset, and you'll find that the entire game changes in your favor. The audacious have known this all along, and now it's your turn. Second principle: the bold embrace uncertainty. Are you the type who clings to the familiar, ensnared by the illusion of safety, always choosing the path of least resistance? While you remain anchored in your comfort zone, paralyzed by fear, the audacious man ventures beyond, unafraid to risk the unknown. He doesn't wait around for the indifferent attention of a woman who barely notices him. Instead, he channels his energy elsewhere, toward opportunities that may yield greater rewards. Let's delve into the concept of risk, the chasm that separates those men who enjoy an abundance of options from those who struggle lies in their willingness to take risks. Consider this. Pedro, ever cautious, is trying to connect with a woman on Instagram. He's already invited her out twice and she's politely declined, citing other commitments. Pedro, ever eager, continues to respond promptly, like her stories, and pins his hopes on a future date. He confides in his friend Paulo, who advises him to take a different approach. Stop chasing, pull back, and let the chips fall where they may. Paulo himself had done this with a woman who also rejected his advances, but he understood that persistence in this case would only erode his value. Pedro, fearful of losing her interest altogether, hesitates. A week passes, and Paulo reports that the woman he distanced himself from has moved on. "I told you so," Pedro remarks. But Paulo, undeterred, reveals that he's now talking to someone new, someone better, and they've already set a date. Moreover, an old flame has rekindled her interest in Paulo, drawn back by his aloofness and self-assurance. The lesson is clear. Paulo, by prioritizing his self-worth and refusing to chase, risked losing one woman, but opened the door to new possibilities. Some women, realizing what they've lost, might even return. But the point is that Paulo didn't waste time pining for one who didn't reciprocate. Pedro, on the other hand, remains stuck, wasting his time and energy on a fruitless pursuit, all because he fears stepping into the unknown. The man who dares to take risks understands that loss is not defeat. It is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. He doesn't cling to the false security of what is familiar. He knows that the rewards of risk-taking are often far greater than the costs. And even when he stumbles, he sees the setback as a lesson rather than a loss. The fear of rejection, failure, or inadequacy is what chains many men to mediocrity. They stay in their comfort zones, missing out on the richness that life offers to those who are willing to venture beyond it. The audacious man, however, recognizes that life is a game of probabilities, where each no brings him closer to a yes. He understands that to win, one must continue to play, embracing uncertainty rather than avoiding it. If you aspire to more success, to become a man who commands attention and respect, it's time to break free from the shackles of caution. Step out of your comfort zone, take calculated risks, and accept that losing a few battles is the price for winning the war. This mindset is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, and adopting it will transform not just your relationships, but your entire approach to life. Third principle, the power of being a challenge. In your relentless quest to please, you've fallen into the trap of striving too hard, exerting every ounce of effort to win her favor. How tragically misguided. The audacious man, on the other hand, understands that minimal effort can yield maximal results because he knows he has choices. He's not bound by the need to cling to one woman's attention. In contrast, your neediness, your desperate desire to be liked, breeds nothing but boredom. She craves mystery, a puzzle to solve. Yet you offer only predictability, a well-worn path with no surprises. Let's confront a fundamental truth. Women are drawn to the unknown, to the thrill of the chase. Yet in your urgency to prove your worth, you strip away all mystery, leaving nothing to the imagination. You become an open book, and with each declaration of love, you surrender the very intrigue that might have captivated her. There's no adventure left, no challenge to ignite her curiosity. When you make your feelings too obvious, when you lay your heart bare too soon, you diminish your value. She now sees you as a finished product, with nothing left to explore, and so the allure fades. In a relationship, the nice guy often makes the fatal error of wearing his heart on his sleeve, broadcasting his emotions at every turn. But in doing so, he strips the relationship of its essential tension, its dynamic push and pull. The woman, now secure in your affection, loses the sense of pursuit, the feeling that she must work to earn your love. If you allow yourself to become emotionally dependent, you transition from being the man she desires to the man who needs her, and this shift is lethal to attraction. The audacious man navigates relationships differently. When he meets a woman, no matter how beautiful she is, he doesn't throw himself at her feet. He doesn't rush to prove his worth because he inherently understands his own. He is aware of the concept of female hypergamy, the idea that women are naturally drawn to men who they perceive as superior. By maintaining a sense of his own superiority, he transforms himself into a challenge. Rather than submitting, he remains slightly out of reach, exuding a confidence that piques her interest. It's this aura of independence and strength that keeps her coming back for more. The lesson here is simple yet profound. Women are attracted to men who are not always within arm's reach, who maintain a degree of inaccessibility. They desire someone who challenges them, someone who doesn't make himself available at the drop of a hat. This doesn't mean being rude or dismissive. Rather, it's about cultivating a strong sense of self-worth, ensuring that your life has other fulfilling priorities, and not centering your existence around one person. If you truly want to be more attractive, abandon the exhausting effort to always please. Become a challenge, diversify your interests, and have other options in your life. Don't be perpetually available. Let her work a little for your attention. This will elevate your value in her eyes and in turn, heighten her attraction to you. The audacious man has long understood and mastered this art. Now it's your turn to embrace it and transform your relationships. Fourth principle, the bold act without asking. Imagine the man who strides through life without hesitation, who flirts effortlessly and moves with purpose. He doesn't seek approval or wait for permission. He simply acts. Meanwhile, you, tethered by self-doubt, linger in the background, waiting for a green light that may never come, so fearful of overstepping that you end up stepping aside altogether. It's time to awaken from this passive slumber, embrace the world with confidence or fade into irrelevance. The line that divides those who succeed with women from those who falter is not one of charm or luck, but of attitude. The audacious man, often labeled as cocky, understands this. He moves through life with a sense of certainty, unburdened by the need for validation. He doesn't wait to act, he simply does. This proactive energy, this refusal to be paralyzed by doubt, is what sets him apart and draws women toward him. Consider the essence of masculine energy. It's not about waiting for the right moment, but about creating it. This energy is assertive, decisive, and unafraid to take the lead. Women are naturally drawn to this, even if they don't consciously recognize it. Behind closed doors, it's this confidence, this willingness to act without hesitation, that provides the excitement and security they crave. In stark contrast, the nice guy embodies passivity. He hesitates, defers, and seeks permission at every turn. This constant need for validation not only erodes his confidence, but also diminishes his appeal. When a man waits for permission to act, whether in public or in private, he relinquishes control, becoming less a partner and more an observer in his own life. This passivity, this reluctance to take the reins, leads to missed opportunities and leaves women feeling unfulfilled. It's crucial to understand that being assertive doesn't mean being disrespectful. There's an art to sensing the moment, to knowing when action is required, and then moving forward with confidence. Women by nature may be more passive and hesitant, so a man who can take the lead fulfills a fundamental need. It's not about dominance for its own sake, but about providing a steady hand in a world that often feels uncertain. Think back to cultural moments like the phenomenon of 50 Shades of Grey. The appeal wasn't just in the romance, but in the depiction of a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to pursue it. He acts decisively, and this decisiveness is what many women find so compelling. The absence of this assertive energy is what lands so many men in the dreaded friend zone. They're kind, they're polite, but they lack the boldness to turn intentions into actions. They wait for the perfect moment, for clear signals that may never come, and while they wait, the audacious man has already stepped in and taken the prize. He understands that action, not hesitation, propels life forward. He's not afraid to make mistakes, knowing that it's better to ask for forgiveness than to live in perpetual caution. If you seek to transcend mediocrity, to elevate your interactions and become more successful with women, you must shed this habit of waiting for permission. Embrace the confidence to act. Cultivate an attitude that speaks of self-assuredness and demonstrate that you know what you want and are unafraid to pursue it. This shift in mindset will fundamentally alter how women perceive you, transforming you from a passive participant into a commanding presence. The bold have long understood this, and now it's your turn to take the reins and reshape your destiny. Fifth principle, the allure of intensity. Consider the difference between a life lived with fire and one that merely flickers. The audacious man, often labeled as a jerk, is not merely alive. He burns with intensity. His every action, word, and presence resonates with a powerful energy that captivates those around him. In contrast, your insecurity, your cautiousness, transmits nothing but monotony. And while you may wonder why she seems distant, the answer is simple. She craves someone who can make her feel, not a timid soul who barely knows his own desires. Intensity is the pulse of life, the force that transforms the mundane into the extraordinary. The audacious man embodies this principle. He doesn't just exist, he provokes. He stirs emotions, he creates an atmosphere of excitement that draws others to him like a magnet. His actions are bold, his words deliberate, and his presence undeniable. This is not about being reckless or unstable. It's about living with a passion that others cannot help but notice. Contrast this with the predictable patterns of the nice guy, routine, safe, and entirely forgettable. He follows the same script day after day, offering no surprises, no depth of feeling. He says the right things, does the expected, but in doing so, he fails to ignite any real passion. There's no mystery, no excitement, just a steady, unchanging rhythm that lulls instead of excites. The woman who seeks more from life desires a companion who can take her on an emotional journey. She wants to feel the highs and lows, to be swept up in a whirlwind of sensations that remind her she's alive. The audacious man understands this on a fundamental level. He isn't afraid to show his emotions, to be vulnerable, to express his passions openly and without reservation. This raw authenticity, this willingness to live intensely, is what makes him irresistible. Passion is contagious. When a man lives with fervor, those around him cannot help but be affected by it. The audacious man's intensity is not just in how he interacts with the world, but in how he engages with his own life. He throws himself fully into what he believes in, and this commitment is profoundly attractive. It tells a woman that he's not afraid to feel deeply, that he's capable of experiencing life in all its fullness, and that she too can experience this depth by being with him. So if you wish to transform yourself into someone more compelling, learn to embrace intensity. Don't just go through the motions. Immerse yourself in your passions. Allow yourself to feel deeply and express those feelings without fear. It's this intensity, this ability to provoke strong emotions, that will make you stand out. The audacious man has long mastered this art, using it to create connections that are as powerful as they are enduring. Now it's your turn to learn, to apply, and to live with the intensity that transforms not just relationships, but life itself. Sixth principle, the power of pre-selection. Consider the allure of the crowded marketplace. A store bustling with customers, brimming with life and energy, naturally draws your attention. You instinctively think, there must be something valuable here. The same principle applies to human attraction. If others find value in you, so will she. The audacious man, often perceived as a jerk, understands this dynamic intuitively. He is rarely seen alone, and this presence of others around him, whether friends, admirers, or past lovers, naturally piques curiosity and desire. Let us delve into the concept of pre-selection, a cornerstone in the philosophy of attraction. Imagine you are searching for a car. On one side of the street, you see a dealership devoid of activity, its showroom empty and silent. Across the way, another dealership buzzes with activity, customers engaging eagerly with the vehicles on display. Which of these two would you feel drawn to explore? Most would be inclined toward the busier store, its liveliness signaling that there's something worthwhile inside. This is the psychology of pre-selection at work, and it is just as potent in human relationships as it is in commerce. Women often subconsciously are attracted to men who are already desired by others. It's not just about the physical presence of other women, it's the unspoken validation that comes with it. If a man is sought after, there must be something inherently valuable about him, qualities that have been recognized, tested, and approved by others. This perceived value elevates him in the eyes of those who observe him, sparking their interest and intrigue. The audacious man is adept at leveraging this phenomenon. He is frequently seen in the company of women, and this social proof acts as a magnet for others. His interactions are often noticed, discussed, and even admired by those around him. It's not uncommon for a woman to discuss him with her friends, sharing stories of his charm, his confidence, or his prowess. These conversations, often casual and seemingly insignificant, serve as powerful endorsements, further enhancing his appeal. This concept extends beyond mere appearance. When a woman speaks of a man's qualities, of how he conducts himself or the way he makes her feel, it's as if she's providing a glowing review of a product that others might want to try. Even without realizing it, she becomes a promoter of his desirability, and other women take note. This cycle of social validation feeds into the man's pre-selection, continually reinforcing his value. If you aspire to increase your attractiveness, understanding and applying the principle of pre-selection is essential. You don't need to be a womanizer or a player. Rather, you should cultivate an aura of desirability. Demonstrate that you have options, that you are a man of substance who others find appealing. This doesn't mean you must flaunt your relationships or seek attention for its own sake, but rather, you should allow your value to be recognized naturally by those around you. The audacious man has long mastered this subtle art, using it to his advantage with ease. Now it's your opportunity to harness the same power. Understand that being desired by others enhances your allure, and let this knowledge guide your actions. By embodying this principle, you not only increase your attractiveness, but also elevate your standing in the eyes of those who may one day desire you themselves. Seventh principle, the power of self-love. At the core of every truly magnetic individual lies a profound and unwavering sense of self-love. It's a simple truth, yet one that carries immense weight. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to? The audacious man, often dismissed as a jerk, understands this implicitly. He places himself at the center of his own universe, nurturing his body, sharpening his mind, and never bending to the will of others. Meanwhile, those who lack self-love live off the scraps of attention, desperately seeking validation from others. A pitiful existence. Self-love is not a mere trait. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. When a man truly values himself, it manifests as confidence, a quality that is irresistibly seductive. This confidence, when rooted in genuine self-respect, acts like a magnet, drawing others toward him. But let's be clear, self-love is not the same as narcissism. It's not about being consumed by your own image or living in a constant state of self-admiration. Rather, it's about understanding your worth and refusing to settle for anything less than you deserve. You don't need to adopt the entire persona of the stereotypical jerk to be attractive, nor should you fall into the trap of promiscuity, which ultimately leads to negative consequences. What you need is a deep understanding of your own value and the discipline to maintain it. The nice guy often believes he possesses self-love, yet his actions betray him. He overextends himself, invests in relationships that aren't reciprocated, and ultimately loses because he doesn't truly prioritize his own well-being. To cultivate self-love is to recognize that your time, energy, and attention are valuable commodities. When you find yourself begging for scraps of attention, you're not just devaluing yourself, you're eroding your own dignity. True self-love means knowing when to walk away from situations that don't serve you, preserving your energy for those who recognize and appreciate your worth. Taking care of yourself is the first act of self-love. This means investing in your physical health, exercising regularly, eating well, and maintaining a presentable appearance. Your outward appearance reflects your inner state. When you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you project an aura of confidence that others can't help but notice. But self-love goes beyond the physical. It's about being a man of substance, someone who is continually growing and progressing in all areas of life, mentally, emotionally, and financially. It's also crucial to avoid the trap of anxiety that comes with the pursuit of self-improvement. Many men fall into the cycle of constant comparison, measuring themselves against others and feeling inadequate. This leads to frustration and unhappiness. The key is to focus on your own journey, practicing daily habits that foster growth, and having the patience to enjoy the process. Gratitude plays a significant role in this. By appreciating what you already have, you attract more positive energy into your life. If you want to transform your life and become more attractive, start by cultivating self-love. Value yourself, take care of yourself, and practice habits that reinforce your worth. Be grateful for your current blessings, and you'll begin to notice the magic unfold in your life. The audacious man has long understood this truth, and now it's your turn to embrace it and let your inner confidence shine. Eighth principle, the philosophy of action over complaint. Reflect for a moment on the nature of complaint. How easy it is to fall into the habit of lamenting life's unfairness, of bemoaning the lack of attention from women or the dullness of your job. But consider also how this behavior shapes your reality. Complaining is a signal of surrender, a cry of defeat before the battle is even fought. It positions you as a victim, and nothing repels others more naturally than the aura of victimhood. Those who perpetually wallow in their grievances, waiting for the world to acknowledge their suffering, find themselves abandoned, left behind by the tide of life. Now turn your gaze to the audacious man, the so-called jerk. Does he waste time lamenting? Does he indulge in self-pity or pause to curse the obstacles in his path? No, he does not. He moves with purpose, addressing challenges head-on, viewing them not as insurmountable walls, but as stepping stones to greater strength. While you stand there paralyzed by your complaints, waiting for the world to grant you some reprieve, the jerk has already forged ahead, leaving his struggles behind, transforming them into lessons rather than burdens. Complaints are, in essence, a surrender of power. When you complain, you admit defeat, placing yourself in a position of weakness and inferiority. This energy is palpable, and it radiates from you, affecting everyone around you. The woman you seek to impress doesn't see a man in control of his destiny. She sees someone who has relinquished that control, content to remain ensnared in the comfort of his complaints, rather than acting to alter his reality. And let's be honest, there's nothing attractive about that. Contrast this with the energy of action. When you reject the path of complaint and choose instead to act, you shift the very nature of your existence. You become a force of movement, a person who shapes his own reality rather than being shaped by it. This kind of proactive, decisive energy is magnetic. It draws others to you, not because you have all the answers, but because you are willing to seek them out. Women in particular are drawn to men who exude confidence, who demonstrate through their actions that they are capable of navigating life's challenges with resilience and determination. It's not about ignoring the difficulties life throws at you or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about cultivating resilience, the inner strength to face setbacks with your head held high, and the determination to find solutions where others see only problems. The audacious man uses his challenges as fuel, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. This attitude is contagious, and it inspires others to view you not as a victim, but as a leader, someone worth following. So if you wish to transform your life and enhance your attractiveness, begin by abandoning the habit of complaint. Focus instead on solutions, on taking control of your circumstances and demonstrating through your actions that you are a man who knows what he wants and is prepared to fight for it. This shift in mindset will not only elevate your standing in the eyes of others, but will also attract the kind of attention and admiration you've always desired. The audacious man understands this, and now it's time for you to embrace the same philosophy. Ninth principle, the art of saying no. Reflect on the countless moments when you've uttered the word yes, while every fiber of your being wanted to say no. Why do you do it? Perhaps you believe that acquiescence will make you more likable, more desirable, especially in the eyes of women. But let's examine what this really signifies. Each time you say yes against your true wishes, you are quietly announcing that you lack boundaries, that your standards are malleable, and that your time and energy hold little value. You become an easy target for manipulation, not a man of conviction. The audacious man, often labeled as a jerk, understands the profound power of no. He wields it not as a weapon, but as a tool of self-respect. Saying no is not about being rude or selfish. It is about the ability to draw lines, to define the contours of your life with clarity and purpose. When you are perpetually available, when your default response is always yes, you become predictable, even tedious. The respect others might have for you diminishes, especially among women. They recognize that they can easily sway you, and this predictability erodes any attraction they might feel. The audacious man, in contrast, is unafraid to decline. He understands that his time is finite and that his attention is a precious commodity. He does not squander these resources on those who do not merit them. By saying no, he sets standards. He signals that he values himself and that he refuses to settle for less than what he deserves. This not only elevates his standing in the eyes of others, but also commands a deeper respect. Consider a scenario where a woman requests something of you that you genuinely do not wish to do. Out of fear of displeasing her, you agree, but inside resentment simmers. You feel your dignity slipping away, knowing that you have compromised your own values. Now imagine the audacious man in the same situation. He pauses, assesses, and if it does not align with his principles, he simply says no, calmly, without hesitation, without fear. He understands that his worth does not hinge on others' approval, and this quiet confidence becomes irresistibly compelling. Moreover, the power of no introduces an element of mystery and challenge into your interactions. People become intrigued by what you stand for, curious about why you refuse to be easily swayed. This subtle resistance, this willingness to protect your boundaries, naturally piques interest and enhances your appeal. To truly distinguish yourself and heighten your attractiveness, you must master the art of saying no. Do not shy away from setting boundaries or standing firm in your beliefs. Recognize the value of your time and energy, and demand that others do the same. The ability to say no is not just a skill, it is a cornerstone of respect and desire. Remember, a man who knows what he wants and who has the courage to act in accordance with his values will always be more attractive than one who compromises himself to satisfy others.